The decision in the case that struck down the law banning 18 to 20-year-olds from getting handguns from FFLs have been stayed. Let's go ahead and talk about it. What's up, Wolverines? Welcome back to the channel. My name is John Crump. I'm an investigative journalist, and this is John Crump Live, where we discuss 2A every day. Go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps with the algorithm because it's engagement, and that's what feeds the algorithm. Also, after this video, head over to thegundys.com and vote for me for top voices of the 2A. I will also link it down below in the description. This is a follow-up to the Brown versus ATF case. That case was out of West Virginia, and it challenged the ATF's rule banning the purchase of firearms from FFLs if you are between the ages of 18 and 20. In that case, the judge ruled that the law violated the Constitution because 18-year-olds and older are part of the people. And the ATF freaked out because they wanted the decision stayed. Originally, the decision was not stayed, but they filed a motion to stay the decision. And now the judge in the district court has issued that stay, meaning that the law is back in effect. Now, the judge believes his decision to knock down the law will stand up to scrutiny. He believes his reasoning was sound and his ruling was good. So he's not saying that the defendants have a likelihood to succeed on the merits of the case. He still believes that the plaintiffs will succeed on the merits of the case. But we'll have to see what happens to that. But as of right now, the law is back in effect. The judge stayed the case for administrative purposes, meaning he is giving the time to the defendants, in this case the ATF, to go to the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals and ask them to take the appeal and rule on the constitutionality of the law and whether the decision will hold up. The next step is for a panel of 3 judges from the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals to review the case and decide whether to hold up the judge's decision or strike the judge's decision down. It will be interesting, and I can't really say if it will succeed or not. It just depends on the makeup of the panel. The Fourth Circuit has a bunch of anti-gun liberal judges on there, so there is a chance that it will be 2 liberals and 1 conservative, or 3 liberals, but we can always get lucky and it be 2 conservatives and 1 liberal, or 3 conservative, which I kind of doubt it will be that makeup. After that, the loser can appeal and ask for an en banc hearing. An en banc hearing means that the full bench will hear the case. Now, an en banc hearing is not a given. You are not entitled to an en banc hearing. The Fourth Circuit will decide whether to grant an en banc hearing or not. It is totally up to them. It is their discretion. If it is granted, both sides will argue their case in front of the full bench, and it's like the original decision by the 3-judge panel never happened. That decision is vacated. Now, the losing side of an en banc hearing can petition the Supreme Court, or if en banc is not granted, the losing side of the 3-judge panel can petition the Supreme Court. Also, you don't have to ask for an en banc hearing. You can just petition the Supreme Court itself. The petition to the Supreme Court is known as a writ of certiorari, or a writ of cert. The Supreme Court does not have to grant cert. It can deny cert. And if the Supreme Court denies cert, it says we are not going to hear the case, and the circuit court's decision is the final word. If they do grant cert, they will hear the case and make a ruling on the merits and decide who is right or who is not. And that will be the final decision. That will be the end of the line for the case. It is going to be interesting to see what happens in this case. I do believe 18 to 20-year-olds absolutely have a right to acquire a handgun from an FFL, which is their God-given right. And also in the Constitution, as the judge pointed out, there is age limits for other things, such as running for president, members of Congress, and all that. But the founders chose not to set an age limit for the Second Amendment. I think this could be a watershed moment for the Second Amendment. The government has an uphill battle because they could not produce any analogs to show the banning of firearms from people 18 to 20 during the founding era, which was 1791, the founding of the Second Amendment. I know that the government is going to try to argue that the founding era is actually 1868, the ratification date of the 14th Amendment, but I do not believe the Supreme Court will bite on that. Maybe the Fourth Circuit will, but I just do not see SCOTUS using the 14th Amendment ratification date, because all the 14th Amendment did was say that the states are bound by the Bill of Rights. It didn't change anything in the Bill of Rights. It just said the states are bound by the Bill of Rights. And that is what the government is using. They're trying to say that the Bill of Rights did not apply to the states until 1868. So therefore, that is the founding era, which I think is just an excuse because they can't find any analogs to their dumbass laws from the actual founding period. It is going to be an interesting case. It is going to be a while before this is decided, but I will be tracking it and I will be bringing you updates anytime we get it on this case or other cases of similar magnitude. All right, guys, that is it. Go ahead and read my book, Masters of Firepower. It's available on Kindle, hardcover, or paperback, and if you're a Kindle Unlimited member, you can read it for free. I would definitely appreciate it. Make sure you leave a comment, a 5-star review on the Amazon tab for when you read it. All right, guys, that's it. Stay ever vigilant, stay ever free, keeping the fight. I'm out of here. Wolverine's motherfucker.